There are teams already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets. There are some the league is afraid that there are some teams' games where you could get into the playoff game for $6. That is how low some of these ratings might be and how low some of these ticket prices might be. Let's get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification. Let's go. WNBA is in a frenzy.
Okay, this is wild. Right now, Indiana Fever playoff tickets are selling for just $9.68. Seriously, $9. That's cheaper than a Chipotle burrito with extra guac, and we're not talking about some obscure nosebleed seat here. This is WNBA playoff basketball, and you can get in for less than a Happy Meal at McDonald's.
Fast. The WNBA is in a panic right now. The WNBA higher-ups are panicking. They don't know what's going to happen. I already let y'all know. I showed y'all the numbers that they was concerned about the playoff ratings and what they will be for the networks. They're concerned about it already. No Caitlyn Clark here to carry everybody. They don't know how these numbers are going to look. Tickets are they're already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets. There are teams already doing Black Friday sales for playoff tickets.
But here's the kicker, the absolute shocker. Caitlyn Clark is nowhere to be found on that court. She's sitting on the sidelines in street clothes, and just like that, the entire basketball universe, especially the WNBA's, has been flipped completely on its head.
It's $9. This is the cheapest it's been to get into an Indiana Fever game all year. This is actually the cheapest it's been. Look, I still think it's going to be nearly a sellout because I'm sorry, if I lived anywhere near Indiana, if it was 10 quid, I'd go to the game. I'd go to the game. I'd absolutely go to the game. I don't care. I'll pay $10. It's cheaper to be in the arena watching the game than it is to sit at home. Probably more expensive than it would cost to go to to pay for one game on Fever Direct, I'd say, if that's a thing.
The Indiana Fever, a team that was previously selling tickets for hundreds, sometimes even thousands of dollars when their superstar point guard was healthy, is now practically giving away playoff seats like that Halloween candy nobody wanted.
It's understandable in this era to figure that tickets for playoff games are more expensive than the regular season, but Fever tickets for Tuesday night remain very affordable. $12, $13. I don't know what they're going to lie about as far as attendance goes. We're going to get into that momentarily. There are tons of tickets, hundreds of tickets available, if not thousands of tickets still available for tonight's game at a cheap price of a hoagie sandwich and a bag of chips from Wawa. You know, during Hoagie Fest, nonetheless. A hoagie and a bag of chips from Wawa, you can get into Gainesbridge Arena.
Think about it. This is a franchise that, with Clark in the lineup, was charging fans anywhere from $6 to $7 to over $4,000 just to breathe the same air as their generational talent. Now, you could buy a ticket with literally pocket change and still have enough left over for parking.
WNBA is in a frenzy right now. The cash cow is not available to play. The Golden Goose is not available right now. That is Caitlyn Clark. So now everyone has to get their numbers on their own. We saw Caitlyn Clark bring in a whopping 1.8 million viewers for her first playoff game versus the Connecticut Sun last season. That was more than all of the other playoff games that was played that day combined. More than all of the other playoff games played that day combined. WNBA's
The entire league is in full-blown panic mode.
Last year, the cheapest ticket available to see the Indiana Fever at the Connecticut Sun in the first round of the 2024 WNBA playoffs, $133. Let's just say it's not near that expensive this year. It's not. So right there, Indiana Fever just had Caitlyn Clark cut a WWE promo. I'm waiting for CM Punk to run out of the tunnel. There's Mr. Punk right there.
Suddenly, we're seeing ticket prices that make the dollar menu look expensive. The cheapest playoff tickets are a ridiculous $9, and get this, you can snag courtside seats for just $200. Courtside, that's what you typically pay for decent seats at a local high school basketball game. The contrast is so incredibly stark, it's almost comical if it wasn't so telling about what this entire league truly depends on. Back when Clark was healthy, draining logo threes and dishing out no-look passes, Fever home games were averaging over 17,000 fans, even outdrawing the city's NBA team. Road games were being forced to move to massive arenas just to handle the demand. The Washington Mystics, for instance, had to upgrade from their 4,200-seat arena to a 14,000-seat venue, and the Chicago Sky went from their usual 10,400-seat home to the United Center, which packs in over 20,000 people. That, my friends, was the Caitlyn Clark effect in full, undeniable swing.
You can get courtside seats for $200. It is $200 to go sit courtside. Second row courtside behind the basket is $200. 1 to 3 tickets. It is $200 to sit courtside this game. This is in fact the cheapest. It is cheaper to go to this Fever game. This is the cheapest it's been to get into the Fever all year. Why? Why is it the cheapest? Because, well, you see, these tickets went on sale after the Indiana Fever announced Caitlyn Clark was going to be in.
What makes this absolutely bananas is the setup. Clark had announced on September 4th that she would return for the rest of the season, including the playoffs, despite battling a groin injury. And then, just like someone flipped a light switch, the entire atmosphere around Indiana Fever basketball instantly changed. The team that was setting franchise records for wins and road victories suddenly became an afterthought. The playoff game on September 16th, which was the Fever's first home playoff game since 2016, should have been a monumental celebration. Instead, it became a brutal case study in just how much one player can single-handedly carry not just a team, but the entire relevance of a league. Fans who were previously willing to mortgage their houses to see Clark play are now scrolling past $9 tickets like they're expired coupons.
The last time the Indiana Fever posted a video of Caitlyn Clark talking was almost a month ago, but they know who they need to post when it's time to sell tickets. Damn! Putting CC front and center only when it's time to sell tickets. Oh boy. Oh boy. And we're talking about the tickets, folks. Don't hate the player, hit the game. I'm just a lonely messenger. That's it. Look at these ticket prices. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord. Look at these ticket prices. $13, $12, $55 for section 100, $27. $147 for section 5, $55 for section 19, $330 for courtside seats. Oh, snap.
But this isn't just about the Indiana Fever, though. This is the WNBA staring directly into the mirror, seeing exactly what they're made of, without their biggest draw. Clark's absence doesn't merely affect ticket sales, it's a seismic shift that ripples through television ratings, merchandise sales, and overall interest in the entire league. Throughout the 2025 season, every single time Clark missed games due to injury, the impact was immediate and utterly brutal. When she sat out 5 games earlier in the season, WNBA viewership plummeted by a staggering 55%. Games that would normally attract over 1 million viewers were suddenly struggling to crack 350,000. Even the All-Star game, where Clark was slated to be a team captain, saw a 36% drop in viewership when she couldn't participate because of her injury. It's like showing up to a concert where the headliner doesn't show up, and suddenly everyone realizes they didn't really care about the opening acts. Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. These rock-bottom ticket prices don't lie.
But I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said, one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. This news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because This is such a crucial year for the WNBA.
And here's where it gets really interesting, and frankly pretty sad for Indiana. The Fever built their entire identity around being Caitlyn Clark's team. They drafted her first overall, completely structured their offense around her unique skill set, and then watched as their franchise transformed from a WNBA afterthought into must-see television. Clark didn't just elevate their on-court performance, she elevated their entire brand. Without her, the Fever are trying to convince fans that Kelsey Mitchell's 20.2 points per game and Aaliyah Boston's solid inside presence are worth playoff prices. And to be fair, these are incredibly talented players who absolutely deserve recognition, but the market has spoken, and it's speaking in those loud, clear $9 tickets. The same fans who were camping outside arenas just to catch a glimpse of Clark warming up are now treating playoff basketball like a Tuesday night at Chuck E. Cheese. The franchise set records this season: 24 wins, 10 road victories, their first back-to-back playoff appearances since 2015-26. By any measure, this should be a celebration. Instead, it feels more like a wake for what could have been.
This is wild. They're already doing deals. Like they're trying to give you a free tire change. They're trying to give you a free car wash and all types of stuff to get out to these games. This is wild. Look at how empty this arena is. Look at how empty it is. The cheapest ticket, $6. Yeah, I could spot a nickel on the floor right there, row 2, section D1.
But let's zoom out for a second, because this situation reveals something deeply uncomfortable about the WNBA that nobody wants to say out loud. They need Caitlyn Clark more than they've ever needed any single player in their history. This isn't LeBron James leaving Cleveland. This is finding out your entire business model depends on one 23-year-old point guard who can't stay healthy. The league experienced unprecedented growth in 2024, largely because Clark brought eyeballs, butts in seats, and mainstream attention that the WNBA had never truly experienced before. Attendance jumped a massive 48% from 2023. There were 54 sellouts, and the average attendance per game shot up from 6,115 to 9,000. Television ratings shattered records across multiple networks. But now, we're seeing the brutal flip side of that coin. When your league's success is built so heavily around one player, what exactly happens when that player can't play? The answer is sitting right there in those $9 playoff tickets.
But Caitlyn Clark was first. You know what would have also put asses in seats? Indiana Fever clearing Caitlyn Clark to play the game of basketball. That would have done it. I promise you. I promise you that would have done it. Again, I believe we deserve to know who ordered the code red. It's a lot different if it is Caitlyn Clark and her people believe that, and her medical team believe that she could not play. If it was Stephanie White in the Indiana Fever, I believe that changes everything, as far as I'm concerned.
The timing of Clark's injury couldn't be crueler for the WNBA. The league is currently in the middle of a massive expansion phase, with new teams joining and a massive 11-year, $2.2 billion media rights deal set to start in 2026. Player salaries are being renegotiated, corporate sponsorships are flying in, and everything was finally aligning for the WNBA to take that undeniable next step as a major professional sports league. And then their biggest star, the player generating nearly 27% of the league's entire economic activity, goes down with an injury right before the most important games of the season. It's like a restaurant finally getting its first Michelin star review, only to have the head chef call in sick that very night. All the infrastructure, all the preparation, all the hype, and the one thing that truly makes it special isn't there when it matters most.
In this back and forth from all the WNBA players that the league is not just Caitlyn Clark. Stop acting like the league is not just Caitlyn Clark. There are other people who are doing things. So Caitlyn Clark has been injured, so she hasn't been playing. Since Caitlyn Clark went down, the WNBA ratings have dropped over 55%.
Yikes.
Across the board.
Hey, guess what, guys?
The league is Caitlyn Clark.
The league is Caitlyn Clark.
Perhaps the most telling part of this entire situation is how quickly fans abandon ship. These aren't just casual observers. These are the people who were willing to pay premium prices to watch Clark play. They traveled from Iowa to Indiana. They bought merchandise. They watched every game religiously. They were the literal foundation of the WNBA's recent success story. But when push came to shove, when Clark was definitively ruled out for the playoffs, they voted with their wallet, and their vote was a resounding no thanks to $200 courtside seats, and a definitive maybe if it's really cheap to $9 general admission. This isn't necessarily a knock on the other talented players or the quality of basketball being played. It's just the brutal, undeniable reality of professional sports. Fans connect with individual players, not abstract concepts of competitive basketball. They want to see greatness. And for the past 2 years, Caitlyn Clark has been the living embodiment of that greatness in women's basketball.
So, like a lot of people, I started following the WNBA. And I'm sorry, I hate to sound cliche, but it is because of Caitlyn Clark. I flew my family to Indy to catch the game opener, and it was just such an amazing thing to see. We fell in love with the city. We, of course, also fell in love with the Pacers, and we followed every game since.
The Indiana Fever and the WNBA are both learning a very painful lesson about putting all their eggs in one basket. Clark's injury has brutally revealed just how dependent both the franchise and the entire league have become on her unique star power. It's a sobering reminder that building a sustainable business around one player, no matter how talented, is inherently risky. For the Fever specifically, this is a massive wake-up call about player management and injury prevention. Clark has missed significant time in 2025 with multiple soft tissue injuries, and each absence was immediately felt in ticket sales, viewership, and general interest. If she's truly going to be the face of their franchise for years to come, they need to do absolutely everything possible to keep her healthy. For the WNBA as a whole, this situation highlights the urgent need to develop multiple stars and compelling storylines that can carry the league when individual players are unavailable. The fact that viewership and attendance crater so dramatically when just one player is out suggests that the league's recent growth, while impressive, may not be nearly as stable as it appeared. At the end of the day, those $9 playoff tickets tell a story that no amount of spin can change. The WNBA needs Caitlyn Clark, and the Indiana Fever desperately needs Caitlyn Clark. Without her, playoff basketball in Indiana becomes a bargain bin afterthought that fans can easily afford to skip. Is it fair to the other talented players on the Fever roster? Probably not. Is it a realistic reflection of how professional sports fandom truly works? Absolutely. Fans don't just root for jerseys, they root for players who capture their imagination and make them believe they're witnessing something truly special.
Is a superstar from top to bottom. You never seen a woman shoot the ball like that or pass the ball like that and has that fire. You downplay it, you diminish it, you try to kill it. You almost killed it, but thank God Caitlyn Clark is a strong human being. But the fact that they're trying to replace her with someone subpar talent, subpar entertainment value is ridiculous, and try to give credit to those who don't really deserve credit and try to have players to be the face who aren't really the face. The one thing about the face of the league, it's not chosen by the league, it's chosen by the fans.
For 2 years, Caitlyn Clark has been that special something for women's basketball. Her absence from these playoffs, reflected in those historically low ticket prices, is a stark reminder of just how rare and valuable that kind of singular star power really is. The WNBA found its golden goose, and now they're painfully learning what happens when that goose simply can't fly. Those $9 tickets aren't just cheap seats, they're a sobering reminder that in professional sports, sometimes one player really can make all the difference between must-see television and background noise. And right now, without Caitlyn Clark, the Indiana Fever playoffs have become the most affordable disappointment in professional sports. The question isn't whether this is wild or crazy, it absolutely is both. The real question is what the WNBA and the Indiana Fever will do with this harsh lesson about the difference between sustainable growth and unsustainable dependency. Because those empty seats at Gainbridge Fieldhouse are telling a story, and it's definitely not the story anyone wanted to write.